Is there a prompt? There are 6 emergency exits.
Hello, everybody. This is Ron, your captain speaking. We are currently 30,000 feet in the air, and we haven't even left the airport. We just lit the joint. Just kidding, a little pilot humor there. We like to have fun. Our destination today is Casablanca, Morocco. So everyone, sit back, fasten your seatbelts, and prepare for takeoff. We will be arriving in 6 hours.
7 footers, gang. What is going on? It is Jarod and Jenna back here in these COVID streets, I should say. Jarod, how we doing over there, honey? You staying safe?
I mean, I'm safe. You know me. I'm vaxxed. I'm boosted. You know I don't play no games, Jenna. I'm out here. I ain't going nowhere. I'm doing everything I can from the comfort of this studio right here. You know, I got this studio, got my VO studio. I'm not out here in these streets fooling around with you people.
Honey, before the pandemic, you were ready to work at home in that studio. You've always been ready. We'll be like, hey, what are you doing tonight? And Jarod's like, oh, Jenna, do you have the 765-15 rocket camera? And I'm like, what the hell is that? I don't. I have my phone.
Listen, Jenna,
that's about it.
You know how it goes, right? The old saying goes, you don't need to get ready if you stay ready. All right. You need, and especially in these COVID times, we got to be ready out here. And it's taking over the NBA. We got some issues out here.
It is. It's taking over the NBA to the point where the league is revising its protocol around COVID-19 because of the recent surge in the Omicron variant. And we have our good friend of the podcast, Baxter Holmes, who said that the NBA has hit the triple-digit mark for players entering health and safety protocols in December alone. Now, Adam Silver has said that, you know, when they talked with experts leading up to the winter, that the winter would be higher counts, higher things of that nature, but we didn't expect such a variant. So we have games being postponed. We have games that are being halted due to this. And by the count of Baxter Holmes, he said here on Twitter, 117 total NBA players have entered the league's health and safety protocols with 100 new ones this month. 101 new players this month. Before we get into the nitty gritty, Jarod, we had Adam Silver come out today on NBA Today and say that he didn't see a reason to postpone the NBA season right now, but the NHL has done so. And his explanation was that this is something that we're going to have to be living with at this point right now. So he doesn't see a point in, postponing the season. What are your thoughts on that? I'm so curious.
So, first of all, shout out to our friend of the pod, Malika Andrews, and host of the NBA Today, for that great interview with NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. Look, this is not a surprise. The NHL could do a pause because you know what the NHL doesn't have, Jenna? They don't have a Christmas Day showcase coming up, okay? Mm-hmm. And let's just keep it 100, okay? It is about these dollars and making up this money because we remember 2 seasons ago, the pandemic interrupted money flow. Last season, the pandemic interrupted money flow. These billionaire owners who Adam Silver works for told him, under no circumstances are we stopping this season. So you got to do whatever you need to do to make sure we play these games, right? And the Christmas Day showcase, the marquee day, that is the NBA's day, even though they're going to have to deal with the NFL on that day. And that's a whole other conversation for a different day because I think the NBA should stop, and excuse my language, pussyfooting around the NFL, right? Like, you got your product, put it out. What are you scared of? You got the best product, in my opinion, in sports. Don't be afraid. Put that joint out there. That aside, this is about money and Adam and the TV deal and all that looks. And the NBA, unlike other sports, Jenna, as you know, sells its stars, right? It sells LeBron, Steph, KD, Giannis, this one, that one. That's how the NBA works. But we got some problems right now because that Christmas Day slate ain't looking great for a lot of these stars.
No, it's really not. The NBA is going to be prepared to shift game times as late as December 24th with, different priority slots. And according to a memo that, be prepared that changes could be coming if this really hits its peak by Christmas Day. And it's trending in that direction now. We have so many players in health and safety protocols, which has brought the next topic up that per the NBA rules, they can sign roster spots if they have less than 8 available players. We're going to be signing Adam Sandler at this point. What do you even make of this? I didn't even think it was going to be this
it's bad, Jenna.
Extreme.
It is the NBA positive cases that we're seeing are mirroring society, right? And the thing about society is that the NBA tests more than regular society does, right? So regular society tested as frequently, we'd see even more cases happening in society, right? Look, bottom line is these Christmas Day games got to happen, okay? And we're going to see some shuffling. Right now, the Suns are unaffected. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, all those guys, nobody's in health and safety protocols. For the Warriors, Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole are, but Stephen Curry, Draymond Green are not. Listen, how much you want to bet that game somehow manages to find its way flexed into some kind of primetime slot? Because, as we know, Steph Curry, major draw, right? And that's something the casual fan will tune into. So be on the lookout for that. As you saw the tweet from Woj about the memos that got sent to the teams, be prepared, things could shift. Do not be surprised if that game moves into one of those preferred slots that Woj tweeted out about, because the NBA wants to put its stars out there. And right now, he's one of the only stars, in addition to Chris Paul, Devin Booker on the Suns, who are available.
Exactly. And not to mention, back to your point about ad dollars and money and business, you want to slip the Warriors into that primetime spot because of Steph Curry to make up that money that you could be losing, God forbid, pending the changes with the schedule. So we'll be on the lookout for that. And as new players enter protocol by the minute, it seems.
Yeah.
I can't even keep up between all the leagues at this point, but NBA first and foremost.
And to actually answer your question about the G League, or the players are signing, it's like the G League All-Stars right now. There are so many teams that are down to 7-6 guys. They're literally signing anybody. Damian Dotson's in the league again. Isaiah Thomas. I mean, all kinds of people are being signed into the league right now. People who were not in the league for a reason, right? But they have no choice right now. They've got to have live bodies because, again, the other thing you have to look at too, Jenna, is that when the NBA put out the schedule this season, it wasn't like last year. Remember last year? They did the season up until the halfway point, and then they waited because they knew there were going to be postponements. They had to figure out what they're going to do, move this game to here. Man, these arenas are booked already, right? We got concerts and all kinds of normal things going on out in the world. It's going to be hard to make up these games. And we're now seeing sort of competitive balance issues happening right now, right? So this season is challenging for a number of reasons, and the teams that manage to avoid outbreaks, Jenna, are going to have such an advantage. Oh, who are those teams right now? Phoenix Suns don't have an outbreak. Golden State Warriors only have 2 players in protocol. So pay attention to the teams that are not having outbreaks and see how they do over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, a month, 2 months in.
There's so many layers to this entire topic because you have teams that you just pointed out that they don't have a lot of players in protocol, which means they're going to have a leg up. They're going to have an advantage over teams that are signing guys from Rucker Park at this point. So there's that point, first of all. And then second of all, you have players. It comes down to a responsibility of the players too. Remember, we used to talk about the responsibility they had in the bubble, not to be out and about, not to be putting themselves in situations where they could possibly be infected and, jeopardize their team and their availability. So it's that layer as well. And there's just so many other things that factor into this, false positives, things like that. And the list goes on. But I know it's early, but say it's after Christmas and we're still dealing with this. Teams are still signing random G League players from rosters just to fill them up, just to play these games. What do you think this is going to do to the future of the league and these teams that are contending? These teams that may be on a last run, or like Chris Paul, per se, for a title, or, LeBron James, or, Klay Thompson's coming back. Steph's not getting any younger, although Steph has proved that it doesn't matter at this point. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the season, in one of our preview shows, remember I said to you, things are going to happen because it is an NBA season, right? We know that. Injuries, trades, whatever. Stuff just happens because it's an NBA season. If you have an opportunity to not let something like COVID impact you, don't let it, right? Because other stuff are going to happen. That's just the nature of NBA basketball. So again, these teams that did not take it seriously vis-a-vis, okay, we got the 90% vaccination rate. How many of you were like, I'm just taking that one shot J&J, which we know is not as effective as Moderna and Pfizer, right? How many of those people are the ones who are being affected right now? And not only that, when they were doing that, what were they doing out in these streets? As you said, out and about, and we know what that means, right? Who were they coming into contact with and what was going on there, right? Draymond Green came out last week and said, I've done everything I can. I've taken the vaccine. I've gotten the booster shot, but I'm going to live my life, right? That's how a lot of these NBA guys are doing. And you know what living that life means. Living that life means being out here in these streets. Jenna, we saw from your outlet, the New York Post, the night that Steph Curry set the threes record, he was at Catch downtown here in the city with Andre Iguodala. Kevin Durant also showed up to that joint, right? Like, and that's an indoor restaurant, right? We didn't see masks, right? On at least the pictures that your outlet published, I didn't see nobody with no masks. So look, man, it is what it is. And we are going to see this continue, but the teams that are smart and say, look, man, we are going to protect ourselves. And I'm going to be, this is about your risk profile, right? If I don't have to go out into this public setting with people who I don't know what the situation is, I'm not going to do it. Again, leg up. You mentioned Chris Paul. This could be one of his last years. Imagine if the Suns go through the whole NBA season, no COVID outbreak. Jonah, do you know what a huge competitive advantage that is? And especially if they're going to be playing these G League teams. Man, it's going to be like night offs, right? Chris Paul, you don't got to play tonight, Chris. Don't worry. We can take care of these guys without you and book, right? But it also gives them what? Chances to rack up more wins, right? Get that higher playoff seed. Like all these things that now these other teams have to fight against. So again, if you can avoid a COVID outbreak by doing the right thing, do that because some other stuff's going to happen this season. It's the NBA.
Very true. Yeah, I'm over here just to correct the narrative, but I'm over here laughing because I'm just thinking of Chris Paul or LeBron James just cooking these random G League guys and these G League guys thinking to themselves, wow, I've been waiting for this moment forever to go against LeBron James.
Kudos to those G League guys and some of these people who listen, this is your shot. So it works both ways, right? Hey, man, if not for COVID, you may not have gotten this shot. Listen, this is your opportunity. You only get some team. You might get no shots. This is your shot, man. Make it count. And it's not about doing all the, lighting up LeBron or whatever. It's about doing what the team requires because you could find yourself catching a two-way contract or a 10-day and then turning yourself into someone who gets converted to be on one of these rosters, right? Imagine that. So opportunities abound.
Big facts. And hey, if they don't even make it to the league or sign that two-way contract, they're at least going to get an extracurricular out of it. And they'll probably get some endorsement deal for some random gym product.
And guess what? And they get an NBA check for however many games that they're doing it.
That's right. Check the pay stubs. All right, let's move on and talk about the NBA's showcase Christmas Day slate of games because it is an exciting slate of games that we have, again, pending players being out in protocol and a ton of other factors playing in with injury, et cetera, like Anthony Davis per se. But we'll get to that one down low in the lineup here. Let's talk real quick, though. We'll stay in the East. Hawks, Knicks. This is exciting because we all know it was the story that wrote the Knicks back into contention here last spring when they engaged in that heated first-round playoff battle. So let's talk about this. We have Trae Young. Is he newly in protocol?
He is.
Correct?
He is.
Right. He said he's asymptomatic on Twitter.
And so that's the question, Jenna, right? Will the NBA start doing what the NFL did, which is if a player is asymptomatic, are they going to start letting them play? Or is it still he's got to do two negative tests, within 24 hours to then get himself out? Because as it stands right now, he needs that 10-day quarantine. 10-day puts him past Christmas. So he will not be available for this game if that holds up.
He did tweet that he needs 2 negative tests. So I'm assuming by that the NBA is still going by that protocol and not the NFL's protocol. But that'll be interesting to see how or if they tweak those protocols moving forward. But yeah, talk to me about this matchup really quick. Who do you got and what are you predicting? What are you looking forward to seeing?
I mean, it's so crazy because the Knicks have 5 or 6 guys in protocol as well, right? Obi Toppin, RJ Barrett. Those guys, I believe,
key players.
They could be back by Christmas, I believe, because they entered before the 15th, right? Because 10 days from the 15th would be Christmas. So if they entered on the 14th or 13th, they could be eligible. So I'll double check on those guys. But look, the matchup, if Trae Young is not there, ping pong. Shout out to
I know,
our
I
guy
just saw
Dex,
that pop up.
to our guy Dex, who's producing. Knicks fan. Look, if there's no Trae Young, Clint Capella is also in the health and safety protocols, as is Danilo Gallinari, I believe. I mean, who's going to even be on the court? Kevin Huerter and Cam Reddish. I mean, who I like. Those are my guys. But I mean, and the Knicks are going to have who? Derrick Rose, he got a bum ankle. Emmanuel Quickly, is he in protocols? I mean, that's the thing.
I think he is.
We don't even know who's available. See, these games are going to start. They're going to start losing their luster, right? I mean, come on. But all that being said, I think for the Knicks, the Garden will probably still be packed. It's Christmas Day, so which is his own thing, guys. If you're going to the Garden, mask up. All right, like be careful out there. But it's going to be a chance for the Knicks to kind of exact a little bit of revenge, even though Trae may not be playing. And it might be nice for Thibodeau and the Knicks to kind of get themselves on a little right track here and get this win. The thing for Atlanta was they were starting to play well, and now this is really throwing a wrench into their plans. And this is a team, Atlanta, who had designs on making another run and going back to the conference finals again this year. So this is a tough break for them. But in this game, because we do our normal annual pick 'em and we keep score. Because I know where you're going. You're gonna pick the Knicks. I'm gonna go with the Hawks to win this one. I say Hawks, so yeah, it's where I'm at.
I'm gonna obviously stick to my roots and pick my Knicks. I don't.
What's even the line on this game? Do they even have a line? Because I don't even know who's playing.
The line probably does not exist.
I was gonna say, right? The line's probably like undecided. We don't even know who's playing.
Literally, we're unsure how to proceed. So move on. I'm almost positive my guy Kemba Walker is not in protocol. So this could be his time. This is it.
Kemba might score 40 tonight. A Christmas Day treat from Kemba Walker.
It's pretty much going to happen. Knock on all the wood in America. But still, it's going to happen. My guy's going to come back. He's going to prove that he's worthy to be in this rotation. And he's going to calm my blood pressure down because it's knocking years off my life. It's not good for me. So it is what it is. I have the Knicks. I'm going to eat those words, but it's
The line is Knicks minus 1.5. All right. So you're taking the Knicks. Knicks as favorites. I'm going to go Hawks and say they pull the upset. All right.
Like to see it. All right, let's talk about the new look Celtics facing off against the reigning champion Bucks, because we got these two teams, and it's a very interesting matchup because the Celtics are looking to climb out of that hole that they're in right now, and they can't seem to get it together. And then the Bucks' big three is back, baby. They are back, and it's gonna be rocking for that one. What are you looking forward to seeing?
The Bucks' big two is back. Giannis Antetokounmpo is in health and safety protocols.
Still?
I believe so. I don't think he's out yet. Yeah. I don't think Giannis is out yet. So he could be.
Celtics.
Yeah. So I mean, now Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton is more than enough to do what they got to do against Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So that should be a good matchup. That game is at Milwaukee. And Milwaukee's kind of just like, they're just kind of holding down the fort, waiting until everybody's back so they can get on a little bit of a run here. I'm going to go, even though the Celtics need this win, because as you mentioned, they want to move themselves up into that playoff and out of the play-in. But I'm going to say the Bucks here because, again, I like what the continuity of Middleton and Holiday. DeMarcus Cousins may do a little Christmas spectacular for us, so we'll see. I like the Bucks in this game.
I like the Bucks too because although they don't have Giannis, I think that two of the big three can get it done. And like you said, the new addition in Boogie Cousins, it's at home in Milwaukee. I mean, it's pretty much a recipe for them to take it. So this is an easy one for me. I mean, the Celtics troubles just don't have me convinced at this point. It is what it is. If I was a betting person, I got the Bucks. It is what it is. So let's move on to the marquee matchup of the day for most. The Warriors and Suns, the two leading teams in the West. I mean, the Warriors can't escape headlines because they're just so damn good this season. And it's like the old times. The Splash Brothers are almost reunited, but Clay won't be back till January. We're finding out recently. So don't get excited. He will not be there on Christmas Day, at least suiting up and playing on the floor. But talk to me about this matchup because this is pretty even in a lot of areas. Let's talk about the matchup in Mikal Bridges and Steph Curry.
Yeah, so in that first game, I thought Mikal Bridges found some things that he was able to use against Steph Curry. And Jen, look, I say this all the time. You ain't stopping people like Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. Like, that's not whatever. They're going to do their thing. Your job as a defender is how can I make it difficult for them and make them less efficient, right? So if Steph's going to score his 35, I need him taking 25 shots to score them 35, right? Like I need him taking a lot of shots. I need a 3 ball to not be as efficient. I need to speed him up and hurry him. Now, all that being said, I can do that and he can still knock down the shot anyway because he is a great shot maker, right? As are the great players in this league. But I'll be watching that game to see if Mikal is taking notes and sort of like filing, because what this game is another reference point, right? The Suns and the Warriors could very well be the Western Conference Finals. They've had 2 games they played already. They split those 2 games. This is the rubber match. What's another piece from Steph's game that Mikal could take away, right? He seems to me, and he strikes me as that kind of student of the game. And as he's watching Curry and going through the motions of guarding him and doing it, what's the reference point? And is this something that he can pull out in a conference final? He goes, oh, I know exactly what's coming right now. I got a way I can make that shot more difficult or speed him up a half a second more than he wants to be sped up, right? Because that could be the difference between a make and a miss, all right? And with him, that's huge. I mean, with anybody, that's everything, right? So that's what I'll be watching for from the Mikal Bridges, Steph Curry component of this. And vice versa for Steph, right? What has he picked up from Mikal that he knows, okay, he likes to do this when I make this move. I'm going to bait him and do, right? It's that chess match between great offensive player, great defensive player.
I'm looking for 2 things on Christmas Day. I'm always looking for guys showing out on Christmas Day. Of course, it is the Christmas Spectacular, the showcase. A lot of guys like to get flashy on this day. They wear the special sneakers, yada, yada, yada. But I'm looking to see that out of Steph Curry. I want to see him put on a show. I want to see, as the kids say, this vintage Steph Curry. I hate that word. But talk to me. I want to see a good defensive matchup. So let's talk about Draymond Green because he's grabbing a lot of headlines too for how well he's playing this season. And it's, again, like we're watching this old Golden State team just have this fairy tale dance through the regular season. So talk to me about some defense with this matchup between the Dubs and the Suns.
Currently, Draymond Green, my favorite for Defensive Player of the Year, and I believe the betting favorite right now as well. Look, these 2 teams are also excellent defensively, right? And what I'm going to be looking for is Ayton and Draymond, right? What are some, again, same thing as I said with Mikal and Steph. What are some things Draymond's picked up about Ayton, how he can get him off the floor or get him into foul trouble? Likewise, when they go small, how Ayton can punish the Warriors for going small, right? And dominate in the paint, rebound, protect the rim, all those things, right? So I'll be really looking to see what Draymond and what Ayton do, particularly defensively, and then on the offensive end for Ayton, when the Warriors go small, can he punish them, right? Because that's the way we've seen over time with this any iteration of the Warriors, that when they go small and they don't have rim protection, can you punish them for that, right? Because they punish you offensively because their goal is you can't keep up with our 5 guys. But on the flip end, if I can keep my big on the floor, can I hurt you down low, right? And I think that's what I'm going to be looking for in this game from the DeAndre Ayton side of things. Oh, did you?
I accidentally muted myself. I said I like it, and I keep saying from the Ayton front that I am continuously impressed that this contract has not hindered his season.
I mean, he's shown that he's the max guy and he's going to get all that money. And whether it be from Phoenix or somebody else, someone will give that dude a max contract.
As he should have been given already. Just opinions up in here, just saying. But let's move back to the facts and talk about another matchup that's happening on Christmas Day. A potential finals preview, some would say.
Oh, we got to pick. We got to pick our games. I'm going Phoenix. Phoenix gets the rubber match. They win 2-1. I'm going to take Phoenix in this one.
Oh, I'm taking the Warriors.
Of course you are.
I'm taking the Warriors. The first time I'll ever be a Warriors fan. It is what it is. That's my phrase of the episode. It is what it is. Let's move on now before I so rudely skip those predictions. But the Nets Lakers, again, like I said, some would say it is a finals preview. For
Is
Jarod,
it?
not so
Is
much.
it?
But when you look at it on paper, baby, it is Hall of Fame City and stacked rosters up and down. However, injury is plaguing the Lakers because their only young, great, incredible guy that's supposed to be talked about so much but really hasn't done as much, according to Charles Barkley, is injured, and that is Anthony Davis went down with an injury. What was it, a knee, Jarod?
Knee injury.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was it a sprain, right?
Anthony Davis leads the league in trips to the locker room. That's who that guy is. Look, the Lakers. Look, LeBron's played well, by the way, since he's been back. So that's been good for them. But this team will only be able to win a championship if Anthony Davis is the best version of himself, as we saw in the bubble. If he ain't that, I don't care how good LeBron plays. They're not going because they don't have enough, right? We know what Russell Westbrook's limitations are come postseason. And Carmelo Anthony, look, it's a wonderful story. Hoodie Mello, 3 to the dome Mello, all that stuff is cute and fun when he scores 18 off the bench. But if you are relying on that consistently in the postseason, not a recipe for success. Look at the top teams in the Western Conference, top 3 teams in Phoenix, Golden State, and Utah. A team, the Lakers, without Anthony Davis, are they beating any of those 3 teams? Hell no. Not even close. They may not even beat the Memphis Grizzlies. That's right. I said it. The Memphis Grizzlies. Okay. So they're gonna have to be a lot better than they are right now. Find that defensive identity. As far as the Nets go, they have 10 people in health and safety protocol, including Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, which, by the way, we should talk about, and James Harden. Kyrie Irving, who the Nets decided, since we have all these issues, we're going to let you back in and play now as a part-time player, even though Sean Marks said, beginning of the season, we will not have any part-time players. Apparently, COVID forced his hand. Here's the reality of it, right? The Nets were like, okay, you're too good of a player to have you mess up our continuity right now. So for basketball reasons, we're not going to play you. The COVID pandemic has ravaged our team. We are literally playing David Duke Jr., Kessler Edwards, Nicholas Claxton, Patty Mills, and Blake Griffin every night. Yeah, Kyrie, we think you could help us. Why don't you come on back and we'll deal with it part-time, right? Again, a basketball decision, right? Because they want to win games. The end of the day is winning games is what these teams are about, right? And they're going to do whatever that means to win games. So, this game will be interesting, Jenna, because, again, Harden could potentially be back because he entered in protocols before the 15th. Durant entered on the 18th. So unless he tests 2 negatives in that 24-hour span, he ain't going to play in time. Kyrie also entered late. He won't be playing, right? So, and also, forget about that. The Nets haven't seen him ramp up or work out yet. So we don't know what kind of shape he's in to actually play NBA basketball. So this might be LeBron, Russ, and the Lakers versus the Patty Mills, Blake Griffin, and the kids. And, if that's the case on the road in LA, that ain't good.
The kids. Oh my gosh, you kill me. This is interesting because that whole entire Kyrie Irving situation, we still haven't heard him speak out. Again, he requested privacy when he first spoke at Media Day and has decided not to get vaccinated. And we explained all of that to you guys in prior episodes. But interesting how the Nets have flipped the switch. I see the decision because you're in win now mode. You want to win. I get that. It's about winning. But then some would say that this is this was a misleading move on the Nets' part because of what they previously said that they would not have Kyrie play.
It makes them look bad. Look, Sean Marks and Joe Tsai clearly came out with a particular position. The reason why Kyrie's back is because this was a player-led thing. And by player, I mean Kevin Durant, right? Kevin Durant's like, look, man, whether it be this load that I'm carrying right now, playing 40-something minutes, not sustainable, okay? And with all these injuries, this isn't going to work for me. So if you can get me any kind of relief, and if that relief means only Kyrie on the road, listen, we're going to do that. Because if we want to win, I can't be, and I've said this to you, Jenna, to everyone a million times, Kevin Durant can't be logging 40-something minutes games in December if you're trying to win a championship in June. That's not a thing, right? That is not sustainable. So their thing is whatever we got to do to make sure his burden is less, so that he is fresh, his freshest come playoffs. That's what we're gonna do. So if it means that we come back and we look like an organization that caved, that's what we're gonna do.
I mean, we always talk about this with Kevin Durant. Again, he's Kevin Durant, but he's coming off of an Achilles.
Correct.
Just,
Correct.
playing 40-some minutes a night, carrying this team. You just get nervous sometimes.
Absolutely.
For the worst, which I don't even want to say, but you know what I'm getting at here. A little bit of load management up in here.
Well,
that's all I'm saying. Look, help a guy out.
Here's the interesting thing, right? The Nets players in health and safety protocol right now, including Kevin Durant, this is a nice little break in the season, right? Load management. Let's say he stays the entire 10 days. That's a nice little break for him, right? And, Steve talked about all year, we got to find little ways to get breaks for him. Well, this is not one that they would have chosen, but here it is. They got a nice 10-day break for him, right? Because the body needs time to rest so that, again, it can do what it needs to do on a consistent basis.
It's very interesting. Kevin Durant, he had COVID previously too. So
sure did.
It's wild times that we're living in here, kids. But we can't forget about our predictions.
Mm-hmm. Let's go. Talk. I mean, you're picking the Lakers, obviously.
Here's the problem. My heart is picking the Lakers. I would normally pick the Nets to win, but honestly, who is even playing at this point? So, yeah, I'm going to stay with the Lakers. I'm going to stay with the Lakers.
Yeah, Jenna does love the Lakers. See that? That's our super producer, Dexter, put down the lower third. Look, just because I'm going to be opposite of you. No, actually, no, I want to win. Nah, I'm going Nets, Mike. Just to go opposite of you, I'm going Nets.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Okay. Last matchup of the Christmas Day slate of games, the Mavericks and the Jazz. Two key teams that a lot of people just sleep on sometimes because we're talking about, the star-studded Nets and Lakers and Warriors and Suns. But these two teams are exciting because they're young. They have great offensive keys and great defensive matchups that we're going to see in, Luka, Rudy Gobert, and the list goes on, our guy Donovan Mitchell. So talk to me about this matchup. Who do you have? I think it's going to be close.
Well, I will say this first. The last game, and I did this last year, last year's last game was Nuggets versus Jazz. Jazz always playing that late game, out in that mountain time zone.
Oh, yeah, they're in Utah, Christmas Day.
I had a picture of my dog Hazel on her bed, and I was like, and I put it on Instagram. I put a caption, Hazel, you're going to watch the Nuggets Jazz game with me? She was out like a light. Z's snoring. I predict the same thing's going to happen this year. I will ask her, are we watching Jazz Mavericks? She's going to be out like a light, snoring. I will be up to watch that game. Look, what I'm looking for is Luka playing better, right? He's not having a great season, turning the ball over a ton. We read about all the stories about Carlisle and all that stuff coming out of Dallas, and
that was wild.
It was wild for sure. So I'm going to be watching, Luka and his ability to sort of like, hey, you got to right this ship. You and KP got a chance to be a nice little duo there. Can you guys find some synergy and harmony as a team? From the Jazz perspective, we know that none of the stuff they're doing right now, which, by the way, they are killing the league once again in adjusted net rating. They are destroying the teams they're supposed to destroy, and they're outstanding. The same problems exist for them that existed last year in the playoffs. Their perimeter point of attack defense is not good, okay? And when you play against teams with very good wing players, they're going to roast you alive, right? Because Rudy can't do everything. He can't protect the rim and run out and cover three-point shooters at the same time, right? You guys have got to be better with your point of attack on defense. So I'm going to be watching to see if they've made any changes, if they've gotten better on that. So far, they have not. And for Utah, for most people, Jenna, it's about the postseason. Everybody's like, all right, y'all can win a bunch of regular season games and be number one in adjusted net rating. Cool. Talk to us come playoff time and see if you make it past the second round, right? So
it is all about the postseason for the Jazz, and they will be at home to their advantage on Christmas Day. I'm sure Dwayne Wade will be there proudly courtside. So I'm going to go with the Jazz. I think the Jazz are going to take this. I think a lot of the outside noise with the Mavericks could play a factor in this just because of everything going on. If you haven't checked out the report, ESPN, bad history with Rick Carlisle
Yeah,
reportedly
just I
and
mean,
players.
it's
Yeah.
it's Luke is a superstar, right? And so with the superstar comes you get to do certain things, and maybe he didn't like the way Rick handled everything. This is an interesting time period now for Luka, right? Over the next couple
Mhm.
seasons, because some of the other players in this draft class have already shown and seen some better playoff performances than he has, right? He is yet to leave the first round, and he's the player of that draft class that everybody's like is an MVP. I mean, the talk was beginning of last year and beginning of this season. He was a preseason MVP candidate, right? Those things didn't pan out, but he more so than anybody else in that draft class. But the other players have been advancing further in the postseason than he has. So it'll be interesting to watch. You picked the Jazz. Like I want to win, so I'm gonna go with the Jazz too. So let's recap. I think for the first game, you went Knicks, I went Hawks. Second game, I went Bucks. You went. Did you go Bucks too?
Bucks.
No, you both went Bucks. Third game, you went Warriors. I went Suns.
Mhm.
Fourth game, you went Lakers. I went Nets. Last game, we both went with the Utah Jazz.
Also, because a lot of the stuff too with Luca in the news and his conditioning and this and that, I just think that it's a lot of growing pains for him right now. And I say that with, a heavy heart. I would like for him to be okay mentally and physically. And I just think that he's under a harsh spotlight lately. I mean, that report that we mentioned was mostly about him. It was really geared toward him and the sort of mounting tensions he allegedly had with Carlisle and things like that.
Well,
Because
and
of
this
the
is on the
treatment of
heels.
others.
This is on the heels of the Haralabob Vulgaris situation when he left, right? And his potential friction with Luka. Look, Luka's a star, and stars get to control franchises. That's how the NBA works.
Yeah.
But I think what Luka is going to have to start realizing is like, okay, having all that's great, but he came into the league with a lot of fanfare and delivered, to be fair. But what makes you an all-time great is the consistency doing it year after year after year, and the improvements and the advancing in the postseason. In order for him to do that, he's going to have to start taking certain things more seriously. One being his off-season workout regimen, right? I'm not talking out of school. He's a known partier, right? It is calming down on that life a little bit, right? Because if you want to do the winning and do all that, right, and be the franchise leader, things got to change. So it'll be interesting to see, again, over the next few years, as the Mavericks, again, kind of mold their team in Luka's image, what that eventually looks like. Because, again, it's early. It's only year 3, year 4, right? But we start seeing those playoff failures again, not getting out of the first round, people are going to start having questions, right? And those are only fair.
Absolutely. And I think as time goes on too, this is a crucial season for KP too, because
for sure.
He's got a lot to prove there. And
he's played well. He's played well this season. Like, I remember when that trade happened, and I know our producer who's producing Dex would say it too. I'm like, man, a Luka KP duel, that's nasty if they can figure it out. But he's had some injury concerns. But when they've been healthy, we saw good things. I mean, many people think in the bubble they would have beaten the Clippers had KP not gotten hurt.
Yep. Yeah. That was a close one too. And what I mean too is when I say it's a season for him to prove, it's going to be the postseason that really, really, really matters for the Mavericks before I think we might see a possible change, because
who knows?
Again, they've been going through a lot of growing pains this year. So we shall see. Mark Cuban, let's go. What are we doing here? And that's all she wrote on Christmas Day, baby. But guys, keep on the lookout for any possible changes pending COVID protocol, times, and things of that nature with scheduling for Christmas Day games. They start at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Correct, guys. It can change in a moment's notice. So be looking out for those who's in health and safety protocols, who's testing out, who's getting out. That could change your betting lines, by the way. We are on the Props Network, right? So betting is important to us here. Make sure you check out the 7 Footers Podcast show page, because there's a special offer with one of our betting partners here that you guys could definitely sign up for. Win yourself some cash. Keep an eye on those protocols so you know who's playing, so you can make your bets. And folks, this is our last episode of calendar year 2021. We will see you all in 2022, and we'll be ready to rock and roll heading towards that trade deadline and all-star break. As always, thank you all so much for rocking with us. We're so happy to be part of the Props Network. So thank you to our producer, Dexter Henry. You can find him, of course, on the NBA Exchange, on the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast, all right here on the Props Network. Of course, you know where to find us at 7footerspod, at 7footers podcast on Twitter and Instagram, at JS Hector, at Jenna Lemoncelli. To all of you out there, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, have a wonderful, safe, healthy New Year, and we will see you all in 2022. Thanks for rocking with us. Peace.
Peace.
Spent a couple years out here with these raps, trying to have a plan that we made come true. Applied to some jobs, but I ain't here back.